Internet, and welcome once again to the Free-to-Play Cast, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, aka magicman, and this is episode 363. We're doing it live like we always do on twitch.tv/MMOBomb. We hope you'll come and join us live for the Free-to-Play Cast every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, or our gaming streams Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, where Jason, myself, some others tend to play whatever strikes our fancy that day in the free-to-play world. We've got a lot of stuff to cover today. I put together a little segment called Things I Think Jason Likes, or Things I Think Jason Will Like, if they're not quite available yet. We're going to talk about some new games that just released or are about to release, and a few that are a little further down the road but are worth bringing up on the show. A couple updates on a few games, too. And then we're going to look at some company-level news at the EA level or the MiHoYo level or the Amazon level, and as they relate to free-to-play news. So a lot to cover. Joining me to go over all of it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay, but I didn't mention it last week because we had the my Halloween reveal or whatever. And the week before, though, was episode 361, which I wasn't on, which made me sad because 361 was the name of my number of my school district when I was growing up in grade school. So I always, whenever I hear the number 361, I always think of that.
Well, you had you had a chance and you blew it. Is the way that I view that one. I view that.
It's also 19 squared, as it turns out.
I thought you were gonna be like, because that was my number back when I played baseball, and I'm like,
that was my batting average. Oh yeah.
Also on the line, Mr. Wilfredo Rivera. How are you, sir?
Confused. At first it was all fine and dandy, and then we learned that 19 squared is 361. Math. Learn it.
Welcome to the Free-to-Play Cast, where we math the shit out of everything. Why are you surprised, though? Jason is he loves those types of reports and looking at anomalies like that.
Numbers, yo.
He's all about those numbers.
All about them. All right, well, let's slide over and get started with the news, because we got quite a bit to cover. We don't have a lot of viewer bombs or questions of the week this week. You guys slacked big time, so you got to get on that. Put your A-bombs, your duh-bombs, your question of the week answers in the comments below, either on MMOBomb.com or on YouTube, so that I can put them in the show notes. You keep slacking, I'm just going to cut those segments, so the show will be a lot shorter. Actually, that might not be a bad idea.
We have been going well over an hour lately. So, if we have a 45-minute cast, it's okay.
There you go. Anyway, let's get started with the news. Because we tend to do it live now, and so we start throwing in things chat says.
Although I might have a box next week.
Yeah, I have a box on the way too. So we will. Okay. I forget who mine is coming from. Shit, I don't remember. But yeah, so we both have boxes coming from different companies. So we will not open those. We will do live opens on the Free-to-Play Cast with any of those press boxes. So first up, things I think Jason will like if they're not available yet. And I think this one's kind of a no-brainer that, yeah, Jason probably likes this. Path of Exile, after a little bit of we're not quite sure when we're going to push this. They did finally push this. And the update in Path of Exile makes your inventory sorting easier. There's now a stash tab folders and affinities. Just basic inventory management. And Jason, I am sure you when you saw it, you got up, you ripped your shirt off, and you ran around the house bare-chested, yelling the music of your people.
Dude, I usually don't wear a shirt anyway. I just got this on for the cast because they require it on Twitch or something. But yeah, well, shirt and pants. But anyway, yeah, anything that makes inventory management simpler is always a big plus in my book. I haven't played Path of Exile for a while. I never did buy, although I would say I never did buy stash tabs. They say it also applies to the free tabs as well. So yeah, if that makes that even much easier to sort all your stuff, great. And I'm just looking at how they did it to a couple different ways. Like you have like a sort of graphical thing, looks like a folder system. Like if you right click on a something on your desktop and choose property or not properties. Yeah, properties got little tabs up front.
Yeah,
that's one way you can do it. You can sort through that way. There's also something that looks more like a folder system. Like if you're on your computer and you go to the left side is this PC and you got tab to pull down this, pull down that. You can look at it that way if you like. So
Yeah,
all sorts of different options.
And you can set up affinities for those tabs too.
So like you can
put
automatically
certain
get it so
chosen
that if you get a
types
certain
are
thing,
auto sorted. Yeah.
right, it goes in your inventory, goes straight over there. So it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. Colors, pretty colors too. All the different stuff.
It doesn't make like inventory itself any better, right? Like it's still the grid type stuff, but the sorting is a hell of a lot easier. A hell of a lot easier. Now we should note on this one, Wilfredo, I know you dabble in Path of Exile. I don't know if you feel as strongly about this. We'll get your take in just a second, but we should note that this is available for PC players, not quite for console players yet. So if you're playing on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you have a little bit of a wait. And there are some other things in this update, so check out the full patch notes on mmobomb.com. But this was the biggie, particularly when talking to Jason Winter. Wilfredo, is this something you're happy about, or just okay? That's great. It makes it easier for me. Where are you between the I don't care and the Jason Winter on this one?
That's weird. For me, I like it. This is one of those quality of life things that we kind of needed in the game. I went back into Path of Exile last night just so I can see how well it was. It's done pretty well. I'll give him that. But I agree with you when it comes to the whole grid-based system, because you just run across so much gear, and there's never enough space. And I'm tired of hearing my characters say, "I need bigger pockets." But I think for a quality of life thing and having sorting abilities that much easier for you, so good. We've been waiting for this for a while. So yes, thumbs up for that.
No, I mean, let's not give them too much credit, right? I mean, this is shit that really should have been in there a while ago, if not at launch, when you're talking about basic inventory management. So while it is nice to see, it's like, what the fuck took so long for this type?
I mean, they had some aspect of it where you could buy specialized kind of stash tabs, but the sort of auto sorting, I think, is new mostly.
Yeah.
Plus, maybe this is what they got done when they delayed the thing because of Cyberpunk.
Maybe
this is what they're getting done.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you also got to think, like, this is something that they didn't think about from the get-go, because they probably just wanted the game to come out, which obviously that's what you want. You want your game to come out. Something this small, they probably could say, it's not that big of a deal. There are some people who still play Diablo 2 and love micromanaging on that level. Others of us, we just want to get to it and find the stuff that we need. So,
and I would give you that little, like, the benefit of the doubt you're kind of giving them, like, smaller company, let's just get the game out there. If it hadn't launched in 2013.
It's been 7 years, granted. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And been the relative success that it has for most of those 7 years. So, but a little bit of help for your inventory on the sorting front. Also on the, I think Jason will like aspects of this. I'm not quite sure on all of it, but aspects of it. Really weird story breaking this week about leaked documents coming from Crytek, or from the Crysis team. Not only just having leaked documents not being a really good thing, but this kind of leaked a lot of items without any caveat on what was actually real and in development, or what could potentially have just been a proposal that somebody was talking about. So we're going to talk about some of the games here that were in the leak, but it does need the huge caveat on it, and we have it in the article too if you want to go look at it and all the sourcing and everything like that, so everybody gets credit for the work that they did and where we pulled the information from. But it needs this huge asterisk. We don't know how many of these different things we're going to talk about are actually projects that are approved, projects that are at some phase of development, projects that somebody just was pitching and generally seem like it's an idea, let's talk about it. We have no idea, like, confirmation on what is in development and what is not. So huge caveat on this. But Jason, of course, from our standpoint on the free-to-play side, while some of these may just be interesting for Crysis fans, on our side of things, a Battle Royale was thrown into this little mix of potentially leaked items.
Yeah, I have to admit, though, I don't know why you think a Battle Royale for a game series I've never played before is something that I would like.
It's not the Battle Royale. It's not the Battle Royale. It's not the Battle Royale. I think if I had to guess and why I put it in here, one, you don't like leaks, so I knew
Nah.
I knew that this was like we debated for a good 20 minutes on even whether there was enough to really warrant covering this from our side or not. But I thought that you would like adaptive like nanosuit powers and stuff like that in a battle royale. Again, kind of getting away from that every battle royale is just run around, pick up machine guns and sniper rifles. Not necessarily that you would like the game itself, but that you would like it was a different direction for a battle royale.
Maybe. I'll read what the notes said on the notes that we apparently got on Crysis Next, which is what was leaked. It says Crysis Next is a free-to-play battle royale game where hundreds of players collide in fast-paced combat. Visual customization, adaptive nanosuit powers, and visually spectacular combat in an immersive world creates the ultimate live streaming experience. Crysis franchise has all the features to make a battle royale stand out: the gameplay, the style and setting, high production value. And that's all the info we have, plus one little picture of a dude.
Yeah, and the
But
dude,
yeah,
the dude looks cool, and I like the idea of like adaptive nanosuit powers. It's more customization, as which and that's the aspect I thought you'd be interested in, even if you weren't like all over the game itself.
I don't think that means it. You have powers and they change. It's like, okay, whatever. That's Spellbreak basically, or a lot of other games where there are other battle royales where you can pick up different abilities and so forth to do different things. So I don't think it's that innovative or like, oh man, I read that and it's the thing I want. Really, nah, it's going to be another shooter with battle royale stuff. And if you're into Crysis, if you're into that series, then maybe great. But this doesn't really do anything for me.
There were other things in here too, Wilfredo, including remasters of the original Crysis games. Now, the first of those we do know was announced as releasing earlier this year, but then was delayed. So at least we know that that one is probably still a thing. Crysis VR, a mobile version of Hunt Showdown, sequels to Rise, Son of Rome, and Robinson the Journey, and then Crysis Next, which is the battle royale we're talking about. So a lot of potential Crysis-based projects on their way at some point, or none of them, and these were just ideas that they were talking about behind the scenes. So what's your take on it?
I think when it comes to Crysis, I asked the question of who was talking about Crysis within the last 3 or 4 years. I honestly, like,
Crysis used to be the benchmark game for like the
Oh, of
longest
course.
time.
Oh, yeah.
The longest time. The newest Crysis was like the benchmark game for your hardware testing.
Yeah, but that was for hardware testing to see if your rig can run it. But no one ever has said this is one of the best shooters I've ever played. It's got some things to it, cool. But outside of that, there's still Halo, there's still Call of Duty.
Is there Halo though? Like, is there Halo?
I do think coming out
is, but there isn't. But I get it. The whole thing is, I'm surprised we're even talking about Crysis at this point, especially in 2020. But seeing that they have ideas, that's pretty cool. Even if they're just ideas.
No, I think you're kind of shortchanging the Crysis license, and that, maybe it's just my personal opinion. I think you're shortchanging it a little bit. I would disagree slightly that I don't think it's as dead and bygone a thing as you seem to think it is. Granted, I will also concede the other side of that is not as big as it once was either. But I think it is an IP worth keeping alive and experimenting with. So I like seeing that at least these are discussions that are being had. Will it have to evolve a little bit to kind of catch up to the times in these genres? Yeah, I will agree with you there. I think it will definitely have to do that, Wilfredo.
Oh, absolutely. But the other thing is this. I'm totally down for pushing VR. Really am.
Yeah.
Do we need another battle royale though? I would be so down to see Rise 2. That would be awesome. I would be totally down to see a new Crysis game. Let's sign me up for it. Do we really need another battle royale?
Oh,
there's always room for more BR.
No.
That's Hyperscape says no.
No.
On this last list of things Jason likes, or I think he would like, and this is definitely one where I came in with, I think Jason will like this game, the whole game itself. Scavengers is running its next technical playtest this weekend. That's actually already started. If you want to take part in it, you can just go to their website and basically sign up, and within a little bit, they'll send you a Steam key. So yeah, it's not hard to get into. It's not like some exclusive closed testing. If you want in, you can. And these are just technical tests, so they run for just the weekend. This is their PvEVP sandbox shooter. We're not allowed to stream it. We're not allowed to do videos on it. That's why I haven't done any like MMO thoughts on it besides, what is it? I did an episode of MMO thoughts where it was like, hey, I didn't even know about this game. What is it? And that's why you haven't really seen anything since. Now, I did scour the NDA to see if I was able to talk about it. And I'll be a little gentle knowing that they are still in early testing. I'm not going to give huge mega opinions, but I seem to be able to at least talk about the game, just not show you footage or anything. This is very in the vein of The Cycle, which Jason and I play off and on our Twitch stream. So there is that PvP element with different squads fighting each other. There is that PvE element of trying to accomplish things in the environment and make it off the planet successfully. Now, it is a bit more shifted on the realism side. That's not to say that it's like Call of Duty all brown realism. But it is more not cartoony or pastel shaded like something like The Cycle. In my first playtest, I actually was not a fan of the gunplay, and I thought that's dead. That kills the game right there for me. I was not a fan. It took forever to kill somebody. Like even when I was dying, I was like, it really shouldn't have taken that long to kill me. In the position I was in and where they were, I really shouldn't have had the chance that I did. I was very delighted to see that in the notes here, that is time to kill was addressed in this going into this test. I do like the environments. I do like the movement. I'll tell you what, sliding down the snow hills is actually quite a bit of fun. That increased movement speed over downhill places is a lot of fun. Jason, I think this is right up, or could be right up our alley as far as enjoying The Cycle. It's all going to be in the execution, though. The groundwork is there, but the game itself I don't think is yet, and that's okay. It's still in technical testing.
Yeah, this is something I do find myself being a little interested in because, as you say, it has that sort of cycle-ish kind of feel to it, and maybe as cosmetic and as surface thoughty as it seems. Just the fact that it's not just some generic grassland with trees and whatever and wildlife. So the fact that it's got this kind of snowy look to it with more monstery kind of things, but with the realistic setting
and weather
that makes it feel
factor too.
Yeah. That makes it feel more interesting and more different from other games in that respect. Because, like you said, so many of the battle royales are just greens and browns and whatever, and standard suburbia, scavenge the houses and get guns and so forth. This seems a little more interesting, so I'm definitely interested in seeing how it turns out. Giving it a shot.
Guardian Vale in chat saying the vehicles are fun too. They absolutely are. Now again, I still find myself, Wilfredo, saying the same thing. The framework for a really interesting and fun game is there. You already have me on the premise because that's a proven premise I've played elsewhere, and I like the premise. So you got me there. The groundwork for the game is there. I can see it. I can see that the execution could end up there, but it isn't yet. So if you go into these technical tests and it's a little slower in this aspect than you would like, or a little faster in this aspect, or this is a little choppy, I give them a little bit of leeway. I am very hopeful that noticing between the last technical playtest and this one of the things addressed was time to kill being shortened. That's good. That means that they are listening to our feedback. So it's not quite there yet, but is it something you're willing to give a shot? Like, how do you feel about this whole PvEVP type shooter game genre that's kind of evolving out of the Battle Royale genre?
Started watching this. I watched the trailer, and I immediately said, this is Division in the Destiny universe on survival mode. And that caught my appeal. I thought it looked really good. Now, I understand there's probably going to be a lot of bugs. It's still technical, but it has definitely got my attention. The time to kill, I knew that there was going to be a bullet sponge issue when I was first reading about this.
Yep.
And that's what made me think Division, because Division and Division 2 had bullet sponges from the rip, and it was awful. It just took forever just to get through any kind of instance that you were playing.
Yeah, but isn't that like? I mean, I know this is sidetracked though, but I am a Division and Division 2 fan. But doesn't that kind of come with the nature of the game that it is? I mean, if everything didn't have varying degrees of bullet sponge, then the Division doesn't have that running a dungeon MMO feel that it's trying to emulate in a shooting environment. It just becomes a Call of Duty if there isn't that scaling. I'm not saying that it's all done 100% well, but I do think there has to be that type of element in that particular style of game, right?
Yes, and a little bit of no. I think if they're able to find that sweet spot, like them adjusting time to kill so that the kills are a little bit quicker, but they're not 2 shots and you're down, I think that gives them the opportunity to kind of expand upon that. Maybe instead of just having a bunch of mobs that run at you that are easily killed and then having 1 or 2 that are a little bit harder, if you can find that sweet spot where, okay, this particular, mob is coming up, but they're heavily armored, makes more sense for them to take longer to kill.
Yeah.
But if they're just running up with just a pair of pants, a boots, and a hand axe, there's no reason why you shouldn't take them down in a couple shots.
Speaking
So
of
it's
hand
just
axe,
finding that
this
sweet
is a
spot.
game, Jason, that crafting is a thing too. It's actually a pretty important thing as far as equipping yourself and protecting yourself and abilities to craft as you go. Not building in the way of like a Fortnite, but more of a personal crafting to arm yourself and protect yourself. So that does play a big part in this game as well, too.
Yeah, I've seen battle royales that have aspects of
Oh,
that. That's always looked pretty cool. So
I kind of liken this to like if the Cycle and Ring of Elysium and maybe a little bit of Division 2 got together and had one weird drunk night and a baby was the result, that this would kind of be that baby. Wilfredo's just like, what is going on?
I was just saying, it was a good night, and this is what we produced, and it was good.
Yeah, there's some elements of rust. There's some elements of vigor in that type of crafting. Yeah, there's like, I don't know. It's there. They got to get it all together. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I would play it again, even though it was a technical test. But you got to make sure, because this is either going to hit or miss for people. This is not going to be I occasionally play that game. I don't think it's going to fill that niche. It's either you don't play it because you tried it and didn't like it, or you play it quite a bit because you played it and you like it. So that is things I think Jason would like or might like. Just a couple things. Jay, so 2 out of 3 then?
You're 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3?
Yeah.
You're going to give me
I'll
2 out of 3?
give you that.
All right. I feel like we're 66% friends. I can understand.
Now we'll see how flexible you are when my end of the year predictions come around.
Here we go. I am doing very well on those.
Oh, okay.
I am doing very well on those. And that's right. Holy shit, we are getting to that time.
We're getting pretty close. Yeah.
Damn. Let's talk about a few newer games either coming or just released or released in some type of testing format, and some that are maybe a little further down the road and unfortunately will not be covered, at least initially, on MMO Bomb anymore. We got word, this is so weird. We got word from a new studio named Shark Mob. Speaking of battle royales, they're making one. It's coming in 2021. And if you had to guess, like, let's take an IP. If Mike gets 3 out of 3 in that segment, Jason has to do a forfeit. Yes, another one. Yes, chat, another battle royale. But if you had to guess, like, hey, let's take IPs people like, and let's make a battle royale out of it, I don't think I ever would have put this IP in this slot, ever. Then I thought about it a little more, Jason, and I was like, well, I probably wouldn't have. There has been PvP games kind of based on the same type of characters, not in this exact IP, but in Nosgoth, right? We saw some vampire PvP going on there. Not BR, though. So we're going to get, Wilfredo, a vampire royale, and I don't know how to feel. I love the vampire IP. I love the World of Darkness IP. I have the latest editions for the Vampire tabletop game and all that stuff. Yeah, I love this franchise. I'm excited to see Bloodlines 2. I'm excited that they delayed it a couple of times because I'm like, good. Fucking delay it. I don't care if I get this in 2025. Delay it as much as you need to. I don't want to be disappointed by I will be, but I don't want to be disappointed by this one. Then I saw this announcement of a Vampire the Masquerade Battle Royale, and I was just like, wait, what? It looks like you're a Vampire fan. What do you think?
All right, I've been playing Vampire since first edition, so I am a huge Vampire fan, a huge World of Darkness fan. I'm glad that they did what they had to do for Bloodlines 2 to be done. Why do we need another Battle Royale? Oh, God. All right, look. I love the fact that they're going this route. I give credit to Shark Mob for wanting to take this on. The story, from what I can tell from the trailer, the only thing that makes sense is...
You're good.
I guess.
You're good. I'm gonna bring up the trailer here.
Okay. Is that it's going to be the Kindred versus the Second Inquisition for those who follow along. That being said, it's just why this? I mean, it gives me Nosgoth feels, which is great. I liked Nosgoth, but
Oh, you were the other one.
yeah, I was the other second person involved. The other person, they just stopped playing. This is a good idea in theory, but this could fall flat on its face if they do it wrong. And it's easy to do this wrong. We saw it happen with Crucible. It's easy to do this wrong. So they need to do this IP justice, or I'm going to be furious.
Jason, are you as passionate as Wilfredo on this one?
Actually, I don't know if I played first edition, but I did play some of the RPG back in like the mid-late 90s. So I go back a ways with the IP. And one of the things that I remember from Nosgoth in particular was people coming out and saying it doesn't match the Legacy of Kain, the IP. It doesn't
I said
feel
that
like
to you on a
you probably said that,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember this wasn't because I love that IP as well.
Right.
I love vampires in general, but except sparkly ones. And
Agreed.
so I distinctly remember talking to you about it and saying this is not what Legacy of Kain fans want.
Yeah.
When it was in
Whereas
development.
for someone like me who had never played a Legacy of Kain game, I just appreciated Nosgoth for what it was and thought it was a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
But not getting those Legacy of Kain people over to kind of fill in and play it as well probably hurt the game in the long run. This maybe could be the same thing. I mean, when you look at the Vampire, the Masquerade, if you look at the rules and the character generation, they have fancy powers. They can turn into animals or just blend in the mist and get super strength. It's all pretty cool. Would make for a great battle royale on its own if you're just appreciating it as the game.
Right.
If you actually want something more like Vampire the Masquerade, though, which tends to be a lot sneakier, political, stealth, that sort of thing, it's not going to be what you want. So that's the question. Can they convince fans of that IP that it's a good game for them to try, even if the game itself makes sense from a mechanical standpoint? It could be fun to play.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Like, and you bring it up perfectly as not really somebody ingrained in the World of Darkness or Vampire the Masquerade, the lore and all that stuff. Vampire the Masquerade fans, we want politics. We want intrigue. We want seduction. We want charm. We want all of that stuff. So when you put the Vampire the Masquerade on something, the skin on something, and it doesn't have those, it feels shallow to us automatically. Even if the game is let's say it's a very good and competent battle royale that's fun, that's interesting graphically, has some neat abilities, it's just generally, a decent product. It still feels empty for a hardcore Vampire the Masquerade fan, even though it's a very, very competent product in this example, Wilfredo. If I'm off base, you're a fellow fan, let me know, but that's just my kind of take on it, that no matter how good this battle royale is, there's going to be an aspect for me that it feels empty only because of the IP they chose to slap over the top of it.
Yeah, no, you're not off base at all. This makes sense. Part of the reason why I played, a Nosferatu or a Gangrel was because of the fact that there were serious layers to the game. Stripping out most of those layers, like politics, like seduction, like manipulation, like finding a way around to get to what you want and then stabbing someone in the back, breaking alliances from the Camarilla or from the Anarch or whatever. Those things make the game because it shows you that bit of inhumanity in being this creature. This, we're just talking about people who are on a blood war. There's a blood hunt. That's all it is.
Superheroes.
Exactly. It's just superheroes fighting against humans, or could be fighting against themselves. I mean, if everybody's going through a bloodlust, fine, go for it. Makes sense. If it's the war between the Kindred and the Second Inquisition, fine. Camarilla versus Anarchs, fine. But it's gonna get dull quick, and that's
It is a
not what I
smaller
want
studio
to do.
too, so there is the kind of fear of, you know, what are they going to do with this? Yeah, this is a newer, smaller studio. Some experienced people there, but a newer, smaller, unknown studio taking over an IP that, you know, it's not World of Warcraft, it's not Final Fantasy, but does have a built-in fan base with it. Which should be noted too, and I thought this was interesting for them to point out that trailer that you saw, and check it out for full size on MMO Bomb. Obviously, I can't make it full size here for you, otherwise YouTube, you know, hates me. But that is rendered in-game. They were playing with in-game cameras to make that little cinematic. This is according to their Twitter. And the game is third person. So they confirmed both of those things, that this wasn't just like a cinematic trailer. Now that did look visceral and intriguing. And if it didn't say Vampire the Masquerade, I'd probably be like, you know what? I'm looking forward to that. I would like to see what they do with that. But because it has Vampire the Masquerade, I'm like, what are you doing with Vampire the Masquerade? You know? I don't know. We'll see.
Isn't there some other like vampire battle royale game that we heard about a couple months ago? I remember that. Evil versus Evil. That's what it was.
What?
Yeah,
I
seriously.
don't remember this at all.
Back in April, but yeah, we looked at that, I think, and we're like, yeah, whatever. Because again, probably because it didn't have the Vampire Masquerade attached to it, so we're like, yeah, whatever. And
what is it? Versus Evil?
vampires and other supernatural creatures that come out from the shadows to eat people. That's the quote from it.
I can't even find it. What's it called?
Just search vampire. Just search vampire on the site. And it's the second thing up after this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just tried to Google the name you gave me.
Evil v Evil. It's like all one word. So yeah. But I remember us seeing that and talking about it briefly, and we're like, yeah, whatever. So I don't know.
It's co-op. Oh my God! Slated for late 2020. Did it actually launch?
That's more of a co-op kind of game.
Did it actually launch?
Not.
I don't know.
God,
Here's their website.
Let me see.
Watch trailer,
announcement
announcement
trailer,
develop
diary.
diary. No, it hasn't launched yet. Evil v Evil. That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, well, live out your ultimate vampire power fantasy as you carve and chew a bloody path through evil. Okay, yeah, well, I'll check it out.
Someday.
Someday, yeah, when it ever comes out. Here, let me just sign up for updates real quick. There, all right, we signed up for updates. All right. There was a new shooter that is available now. Actually, I don't know if it's available now.
I think it did launch like a week or two ago.
Okay. It's in early access though, so you do need that disclaimer, but it is free to play in early access. This is Sector's Edge. This is kind of a build and destroy the environment shooter game. Troy Blackburn's going to be doing the first look video. That should actually he should be done today, but since I'm going to post the free-to-play cast, and then Monday will be free-to-play weekly, the first look will probably go up Tuesday. So just keep your eyes posted on this one. It looks very Minecrafty, of course, Jason. It's got that very pixelated, blocky, Minecrafty environment look.
Yeah, it does. But I watched like one of the videos they had on like, you know, that's sort of like a building tips kind of thing. You got like this little building tool that's like the little thing in your hand or whatever. And you just kind of spray it around to put your blocks up, and you can make stairs and all sorts of different stuff. So it's got kind of that quick Fortnite building kind of feel to it, but like you said, a more blocky and more voxely kind of look to it, which is certainly a different feel to it, and it looks pretty neat. So I'm sure Troy will have a lot of fun with it, dying and repeatedly over and over.
Voxels, that was something, Wilfredo, that was like, this is going to be the next big thing. And where'd they go? Where did they go? Where?
They all went into Landmark.
If that isn't an understatement. It's like, voxels, what's this? I don't know. We're not doing this anymore. Oh, all right then.
They're like, we got Cube World and we got Trove, and look, EverQuest Next / Landmark is going to be built on this, except to a much finer degree, so that you get much more detail. And oh shit, the voxels are gone. Where'd they go?
Yep,
they're gone.
This game, I have to admit, looks like it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
This is
does.
what happens when companies like EA, when they're saying, in Battlefield, oh yeah, it's destructible environments, and then you literally have destructible environments.
Like,
This looks
watch that.
cool.
I know it's looking here. I'm gonna make this a little bigger for you.
Uh-oh.
I'm
Here
gonna
we
I'm gonna
go.
tempt the YouTube fates on me getting this uploaded without
We're in it now.
flagging.
I mean, it just
Because I want
looks like it's gonna be
chat
a
to
lot of
see
fun.
something here.
Get my face out of there.
Oh, man.
I want chat to see, like, when we're talking about destructible environments, watch the tail end of this little trailer. When the camera pans back to the entire center. Right here.
Boom.
Boom!
Exactly. Like, just seeing things like that makes people excited to just blow stuff up. And I think that's kind of what people need, especially this year. We need to be able to blow some things up.
It's 2020. I want to blow shit up.
Exactly.
Good grief.
The only thing is, at least for me, I'm not a real big fan of the whole Minecraft look. It's like if Minecraft grew up. That's what I say. So I'm actually
it's Minecraft's teenage brother. Is
yeah, it's Minecraft's angsty teenage brother. Yep.
There you go.
So
I
yeah,
got the Anakin cookbook. Look what I can do.
Wow. Thank you, Eric.
so look for the first look on that probably Tuesday. Quick note here on upcoming games. Elyon, formerly Air Infinite Realm, Ascent Infinite Realm. God. Air Ascent Infinite Realm, now Elyon. Launching in Korea in December, we talked about that. Now, in a presentation, we also saw that there's a tentative release date for the second half of 2021 in North America and Europe. That is an update from the last show where we talked about this as well. Also an update, though. On last week's show, I had gone to the Korean site and looked at what I presume to be, based on Google Translate, Founders Packs, ranging anywhere from about $9 US to like $63 US. Apparently, now with this new information, those are not Founders Packs. Those are actually packs to purchase the game. So a standard, deluxe, a super bundle, whatever. That type of deal. It is not planned to be a free-to-play game now. We finally have confirmation on that one. Now, that is, of course, just initially, because, Jason, you have some thoughts on this one that's not going to last long.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to go at least a year, maybe two. Then I think it's probably going to go free to play. Because this is meh.
I'll tell you what, though. I mean, it's kind of like the way we look at Black Desert Online, though, Wilfredo. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's technically not free to play, but you can find it on Steam and shit for $6 at points and stuff. And I wish it were free to play so we could cover it too. But, personally, I wish it were free to play. But I also don't mind if those prices hold when it comes over here. And like, if you want to check this out, it's $9 or $10. And then, hey, we have an optional store and sub and stuff like that. That to me is just like barely not free to play. I would rather it be free to play. I think it's going to end up there anyway, but I don't think they've put up, like, at least if those prices hold, a huge barrier of entry that would, if you were excited about this game or interested in it, that now all of a sudden you aren't. Because if it would have been $40 or $60, I probably would have said, nah, I just have too many other things. But at $9 or $10, it doesn't feel as bad to give it a shot, I don't think.
I can see that logic. I mean, we're not getting anything game breaking here. It's not revolutionary. It is an MMO. It does look interesting, but I wouldn't mind spending the few bucks on it if it stayed at a low price point. I mean, $50-$60, definitely not. I'd need to see something really that stands out. But like you mentioned,
yeah, I'd pull the old scoop in and then scoop in at the $9 and then play it for a little while and then upgrade that pack if I wanted to, type deal.
I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, from that kind of standpoint, yeah, it's a game that needs to make some of its money back in its development and things like that. Cool, great, I'm down for that. But for $10, you really can't knock it. If Black Desert Online can be on Steam for $5 practically every other week, why not give it a shot?
Let's actually check the price of Black Desert Online right now because it's constantly on sale. $10.
I picked it up when they had like 1 day pick it up free, and I got it then.
Yeah, oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's $10 right now. Black Desert Online, and then like
that's a normal price.
Yeah,
though.
Steam sale come around and it's like $249. Like, really? $249? Sure, why not? Okay, let's finish up with some news at company levels now. Amazon got an interesting patent approved this week. And I'm not quite sure, like, we don't have extreme detail on what makes this patent exactly different, because what they're trying to do here, other games do in some ways. Like Apex Legends, cues cheaters up against each other, like people that are caught using aimbot and stuff like that. I know Dota 2 has a process that kind of tries to put, people of toxic behavior or cheaters and stuff into their like own separate queue too. So it's not exactly new. So I am curious to like look at the entire patent when we're finally able to. But Amazon did get a patent approved for the same type of thing, dealing with toxic players online and throwing them into the same queue against each other, and taking them out of queues with, people that aren't toxic. This one's a little more vague, though, Jason. Like, Apex Legends is, hey, if you cheat, you use aimbots, you use stuff like that, you're going to be queued against people that also cheated and used aimbots and stuff like that. This one, just when you throw the label toxic behavior and you don't have to, like, or you don't rigidly define that, you end up getting, like, people who said fuck a bunch of times against people who are spewing, racist hate speech. And like, there's such a wide swath of what is toxic that when you throw that under one bin, I don't know if I particularly like this idea, even though it kind of is one of those, at a 30-foot view, it seems like a good idea.
Well, it does say that they do allow for players to select what they prefer. So if you're okay with swearing all the time but don't want sexist stuff, but you also don't mind if people leave matches early, you can get into matches that'll match with those, but not with this.
But so that relies on the player knowing that the system's there and how to use it.
Sure. Which, I almost feel like it reminds me a little bit of what they've had in Grand Theft Auto Online for a while. Like, I remember seeing people play that and getting stuck in the, I don't remember what it was called, the other server. If you did stuff like if it's like spawn camp or something, like blow people's personal cars up, stuff like that. So not necessarily, the really bad kind of behavior with the cheaters, but you get lumped into those servers anyway with some of those people. And nobody liked it, from what I could tell from the people I watched play it. They didn't like having that in place. So I don't know, especially I think even if you are one of the people who does that sort of thing, you're not going to want that. You're not going to want to be in those kind of servers because you want to be in with you want to say you're crap to the nice, innocent people or whatever. So I guess it would help, maybe helps those people a little bit. The notion is noble, but I just don't know if it's going to be implemented well enough.
Yeah, that's exactly it. At a 30,000-foot view, this seems like a good idea. When you go down into it, maybe it's not the best idea. Wilfredo, here's the other big point on this. It is Amazon games, so unless they intend on licensing this software, this patent or feature out to other companies, they're going to have to release a fucking game. I mean, that's...
Well, they have their Lord of the Rings thing with the,
that doesn't count. That's not out yet.
Well, none of Amazon's games are out right now.
I rest my case.
I mean, I guess the other deal is license it out if you want to other games.
Shutdown.
But let's look at what they had going on so far. First, it was Breakaway, and that never even made it out to even like launch. Then there was Crucible, which launched and then went back and then launched again and then failed. You really think that their anti-cheat software is going to work? Come on, they can't even get a game right. They can't. This isn't gonna happen. I'm sorry.
I know we're poking fun at an easy target, but it does seem like a weird thing to be getting patented when you can't keep a game launched. Like, how do you unborn a game? I don't know, but they did it with Crucible. They were like, it's our birthday. Just kidding. Yeah.
You know, I've heard
Get,
my
get
mom
back
say
in,
that
get back
to
in
me
the
Get
all
back
time.
in. You're not done yet.
It's one of, I brought you in this world. I'll take you out.
Who else we got on the block today? NCSoft reportedly looking to change their name from NCSoft to just NC because
Carolina's gonna
they're
be
going to focus. They want their global presence to be known that it's just not just software anymore as they start bleeding into other industries. To me, sure, whatever. I don't care. I deal with your company almost on a daily basis. I don't care. Good.
Question is, what does NC stand for?
Yeah, that is a good question.
Anybody know that? I looked it up a little before the cast. I couldn't find it, so it's like, what is that?
New company, North Carolina.
Somebody
New
said
concept.
Actually, I saw a comment. Someone said,
Incredible.
I want them to make sure that they specify they're not affiliated with North Carolina. I saw a comment in someone's article. Actually.
So here's their Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's not there, man. It's you're not going to find it easily. We have to find the CEO and just like abduct him, tie him to a chair, and force the info out of him. Probably.
Yeah,
The
that's
initials
weird.
of it's the initials of somebody's friend who created the company. His name was Neil Chapman.
Yeah, Ninja Panda says not credible.
Not credible.
Here's one. What do we got here? Nothing. Wow. Yeah, I've never.
Huh.
I've never.
Oh,
thought about
it could be NC complexity. A set of decision problems decidable in logarithmic time on a parallel computer with polynomial number of processors. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, now they're looking to change their name sometime in take effect by September 2021.
Oh, it could be NC, one of Jacobi's elliptic functions. If we want to get back to the math.
Sure.
There we go.
MiHoYo, absolutely rich. Just beyond its wildest dreams. I'm sure they forecasted this game to do well, Genshin Impact, but I can't imagine their forecasts have it anywhere near how it's doing. 245 million on mobile, just mobile, now that its first month is completed. 245 million. And that does not include PC, PS4, none of that. Just the mobile version. That is astounding, Wilfredo. Astounding.
$250 million on just the mobile game. Yeah, they're not rich. They're rich. I mean, they are rich. That's look, credit where credit is due. They came up, they took an idea, they made it a game, they put it out there and said, here, play our game, buy the stuff. Freycore said, I spent a lot of money on Genshin. There you go. And this is just mobile. I've never heard of this for a mobile game.
Yeah. Jason, this does kind of rock Tencent's world a little bit on the mobile front because they've had a bit of a vice grip on mobile for a while, and not being affiliated with Tencent, this kind of hurts their little stranglehold.
Yet. Tencent buys everyone. Eventually, they'll get MiHoYo too, I'm sure.
Really, we don't have any comparison point on this. There's very few comparison points that you can make on this one. Like, you've got top grossing mobile games worldwide last month this is from September 28th through October 27th. Genshin Impact at 245. Closest behind it was Honor of Kings at 216. And then PUBG Mobile at 195, Pokemon Go at 122, and Monster Strike at 107. Now, will it stay there? I'd love to be able to say probably not, but people love gacha, sometimes. I'm not one of them, but people love it sometimes.
You wonder how long it's going to be before this starts getting noticed. It already has a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, noticed by the really important people who make the laws and so forth, if it stays that popular.
I have not spent any money on the game, so
good for you.
Hey, thanks.
That's two of us.
Did you? Wilfredo?
No.
Oh, okay.
did
I
not.
thought you were saying I did. I did. Finally, EA had some financials, and yeah, while we generally don't talk too much about EA's financials, there was something in this one of note for the free-to-play world, Jason, and honestly, it's one that I'm kind of astounded to even read is a possibility.
It's like we've all kind of, like, after its big launch, we all just kind of have seen Apex Legends just be around. It's just kind of screwed around. It gets a launch, it gets a release every few months, new season, new champion, whatever, legend, whatever the hell they call it. It's just there. It does stuff, events, so on and so forth. But apparently it has brought in $1 billion. Actually, almost has $1 billion. It will by the end of its second year, is what they're predicting. Which, that's a lot.
What?
Yeah, it's like, so that's what they said in their prepared remarks yesterday, that it's become, quote, a top global franchise with major year-over-year growth and continued expansion opportunities, to $1 billion in net bookings every year. It's brought in about half that each of its first 2 years, 500 million or so the first year, and close to 500 million the second year. So, yeah, I mean, it does not seem like it's that big a deal.
It really doesn't.
But if they're saying that, I mean, I guess you kind of have to go with it.
Interestingly, though, Wilfredo, when they talk about they talked about Apex in the context of live service games and the revenue they were doing. Interesting, nowhere in the discussion or the pretty charts that were put in there was Star Wars: The Old Republic.
People still playing that game?
Oh, come on!
Not that many. If you go by Steam charts.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, you're not going to put that in there because people are aware of what Star Wars: The Old Republic does. It's not that much of a financial boost, but we're talking about a game that was a sleeper hit. It had a sleeper launch and then took off running. And now that it's on Steam, it's just going to get more players. So yeah, I can see why they're going to boast Apex and not Star Wars.
Oh, see, what are you giving Star Wars on Steam charts shit? They had like 7,500 on Steam an hour ago. And that's just on Steam, which is definitely not the number one way to play that game.
How many did Apex have about an hour ago? Let's see, 95,804. That's cute, Star Wars. You're really cute there.
All right, let's slide over to the weekly bombs and get the hell out of here. Whoops, that's not the right one. Let's do this one.
You practiced the bumps before the show, and now you're still screwed up.
There it is. Found it. I'm going to go first. I'm going to give a dub bomb to BlizzCon Online. It was announced that will be free for all in February of 2021, replacing BlizzCon itself being canceled this year. But also, yeah, it's kind of really a no-brainer decision in my mind, and the fact that I have to give this a dub bomb and recognize Blizz for doing something that's really a no-brainer is also, kind of an A-bomb, because I got to worry about Blizz doing the right thing and making sure I pat them on the back when I think they do the right thing, and that just feels bad having compared it to Blizzard of the past. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm going to give a dub bomb to myself for having the foresight to keep old artifacts around for later use. So I follow an account on Twitter. It's like CCG Daily History or something like that. So every day he tweets out a little something about some expansion or something from CCG's collectible card games from whenever. It could be back to the 90s, could be something more recent, whatever. A couple weeks ago, he tweeted out something about, hey, this was a Star Wars Hoth expansion, Star Wars CCG from Decipher Hoth expansion. And I was like, yeah, I responded to him like, yeah, I did some playtesting on that. In fact, I kept some of the playtest cards that we had glued onto the other cards to test with. And the guy was like, really? Can I see them? So I go to my stores and I pull out, 24-year-old playtest cards and show them off on Twitter, and he just marvels over them and compares them to the real thing, how they finished up. So I felt pretty cool for a day for having the foresight to when I did that testing back then. We were throwing them out at the end. I was like, I'm going to keep a stack of these just because, someday later, it's 1997 now. They might be cool to look at 20 years later. And lo and behold, they actually were. So dub on to me for having that kind of foresight.
That really paid off for you, sir.
Yeah, I got internet points. There were like, he quote tweeted me on that, and there were like 12 people who liked the post. So, I mean,
well worth holding them for 27 years.
Absolutely worth it. Yeah.
Go ahead, Wilfredo.
So I'm giving myself an A-bomb sandwich.
Ooh,
This
okay.
this is new. So it's something bad with something good with something bad.
Oh, this is the we're doing your employee review. Jason, you need to get to work on time. The compliment sandwich. You're very good writing. You need to get to work on time. Your coworkers like you.
So the A-bomb goes to Battle Royales. I'm sick of them. God, I'm sick of them. So oversaturated. The dub bomb goes to Apex Legends going free to play on Steam, which is actually pretty cool. A-bomb is me being absolute trash and getting 0 kills and playing for 5 hours.
Wait. 5 hours.
5 hours?
And
Even I'm not that
kills?
The most damage I've done is 293 points of damage. There was a guy who I was playing with last night who had 24 kills. He'd only been playing for like an hour and a half. 24 kills. He cleared the map, and all I did was run around and just die.
I might have found the person that I'm better at shooters than.
All right, we got to do a 3-person team.
There
in that
definitely
game at
has
some
to
point.
be a 3-person squad and
down
something
for that.
on
Let's
one of
do
our
that.
streams next week.
Yeah.
Although,
right,
wait,
we'll
next
figure
week's
that
going to
out.
be hard, actually. Next week we got the consoles releasing on Tuesday and Thursday, so we'll have to figure something out. I don't know if we're going to stream all 5 days next week because we're setting up stuff for the consoles too, and I want to get like Warframe and shit installed on PS5 and do some stuff with that. Nasagra in chat saying, to bomb to old school RuneScape's Trailblazers League for being the most fun I've had in an MMO in a long time. A-bomb to old school RuneScape's Trailblazers League for sucking up all of my free time. Ninja Panda's chiming in, giving an A-bomb to the new lockdown that he's in at the moment, and a massive facepalm to the Vampire Battle Royale. We don't need it. There's too many out there already.
Pull up a little bit to get Jace's bomb there. He did it early.
Oh, Jace, go ahead. If you got it, go ahead and read it.
All right, Jace ML6 is giving an A-bomb to all those battle royales bombarding me in the face. I'm not against it, but don't screw with actual franchises that are good. So yeah, not people are not popular with the vampire. Not liking it.
Wilfredo, you want to take Guardians in chat?
Sure. Which is a great bomb. The bomb to Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. Tropes, Easter eggs. I loved it all. If you love Star Wars, watch it. A-bomb to the elections. Get it over already.
Yeah, we are in election night 4 here in the United States. It's a lot of fun, let me tell you. My state having a lot of fun counting its stuff too.
Oh god.
Yeah, so I have not watched. I mean, I'm huge. I'm a huge Star Wars guy, but I have not watched The Mandalorian.
Oh, it's good. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy.
I've watched.
Really
I watched the entire first season. I have not watched.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched any of the first. The second episode's today, right?
I think so.
I am not. I'm gonna wait till there's like 5 or 6 episodes, and so I've been like staying away from spoilers and Easter eggs and stuff. Stojan, A-bomb for your last week mistake. What mistake did you make? Kisasha, bomb to Spellforce 3 free to play edition. I didn't even know about that. There's a free to play edition? Like, I'm familiar with the Spellforce. Now I gotta look it up.
It looks like it costs money, $50.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a
Maybe it's
is it a trial maybe? Or a demo type thing? If there is, I'll definitely check it out. From YouTube, Box says, got a double A-bomb going this week. First, going to Twitch for their rampant ad campaign going on and basically screwing over all their streamers. It's one thing to let streamers run their own ads. It's another to run ads in the worst possible time during a stream. Case in point, I was watching a streamer I liked, got about 20 ads blocked in about the first 10 minutes I was there, and even without ad blocker on, it still gets stupid. Was watching the League World Finals, and during the peak moment of the match, 2 minutes and 30-second two 30-second ads played back to back. I was so mad I shut the stream off completely. Probably won't make it anymore to your guys' live stream since I'm boycotting Twitch until they get their heads out of their own asses with the ad shenanigans. Second A-bomb goes to the reCAPTCHA someone mentioned from last week's show. Ever since reCAPTCHA 2 became a thing, the piece of crap doesn't work 90% of the time for me, especially the click the images with X on it until there's no more left and click whichever image is right side up. Sorry, Box. The ad stuff is a mess, yeah. And then all the DMCA takedowns and stuff is just a whole nother mess. But go ahead, Jason.
And Kishosh just confirming there in chat. And I do see it now on Steam. Spellforce 3 Versus Edition is a PvP thing, and that is free. So,
Well, I think we're gonna have to get the game pages up for that then.
all right. Anyway, Brickner Catalan, Jason looks like a dead rabbit. Lol. Well, thanks, but oh, you mean last week? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm pretty sure they meant last week. Question of the week last week. What are your thoughts on Elyon? Will it succeed or will it pull another Bless Online, be hyped and anticipated, and then crash and burn? Wilfredo, you want to take the only reply we got on this one?
Sure. Opie, really looking forward to Elyon. It looks great. Only sad thing is it's in UE3, Unreal Engine 3. But hey, still looks like fun. I can't argue. It looks good.
Yep. Question of the week this week. I'm going to make you pick one. Since chat, you've been going back and forth and saying there's too many of them. Tough. You got to pick one. Do you want a Crysis Battle Royale or do you want a Vampire the Masquerade Battle Royale? Which one wins and why? There is no, you don't want any. You're getting one. One of them is going to be mailed directly to your house. Which one do you want packaged up and mailed, and why? Let us know in the comments below on YouTube or over on mmobomb.com. While you're there, don't forget to give us your weekly bombs. D bomb for something good, A bomb for something bad in the world of gaming. And while you're on the web, go ahead and check out gamerpower.com, our sister site. It's absolutely free for you as a user to use. You aren't even asked if you want a premium membership or anything like that. If you like free shit in free games, free shit in buy-to-play games, or hell, sometimes just free games across the board, you definitely want to belong to Gamer Power. It'll keep track of any giveaways you like, the genres you like, and notify you of giveaways, and even keep a running record of how much you have not spent. That's GamerPower, all one word, .com. Until next week, Wilfredo, where can everybody find you?
Find me on Twitter, because it'll be fun, at Damien X Marius.
Jason.
Find me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there on Twitter at MagicMan1, but more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you all the latest giveaways, articles, first look videos, free-to-play casts, and so much more. Until next week, stay safe, and we'll see you out on the servers.